In this lesson, we're going to be focusing on the double angle formulas. So you can see that there are formulas for sine, cosine, and tangent. And even within cosine, there are actually three versions of the formula that will give you cosine of 2 times any angle. So when you are trying to find cosine, like we are going to do in our example, you get to choose which one you want to use. And sometimes one is more convenient than the other because of the information that you might have. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first example. We want to find cosine of 2 times some unknown angle. And all we know about that angle is that cosine of that angle, not twice the angle, but just the regular angle, is equal to 5 over 13. And we also know that the angle is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. So we'll be able to figure out what quadrant we're in. Now, in this problem, when we have the choice of 3 different formulas to use, we're going to use a formula that we don't have to do too much work for. So because I already have information about cosine, I'm going to choose to use this second formula, because this formula only requires me to know cosine. If I were to choose the first one or the second one, it would still be solvable. I would still get the same answer, but it's a little bit more work because I'm going to have to find what sine is. So in this case, we can just use the second formula. So let's go ahead and plug in. I have 2. I'm just going to write out the formula first. 2 cosine squared of u minus 1. Okay, now we want to plug in cosine squared, and we only have cosine. So when we plug in, we're going to do 2 times. I'm going to plug in 5 over 13, and I'm going to have to square that. Minus 1. So let's go ahead and keep simplifying. I'm going to have 2 times, and 5 squared is 25, and 13 squared is 169, and then I have minus 1. So let's go ahead and continue to simplify. I'm just going to write 2 as 2 over 1. At this point, if you can simplify, you definitely want to. In this case, I can't cross simplify here. So I'm going to get 50 over 169 minus 1. So there's one more step I need to do, and that is to rewrite 1 with a common denominator as the first fraction. So I'm going to rewrite that as 169 over 169. Now, when I do 50 minus 169, we'll get negative 119 over 169. The only thing left now to do in your final answer, just for notation purposes, let's go ahead and put that negative. I'm sorry, I actually have 2 negatives. 50 minus 169, I get negative 119 in the numerator. So I'm just going to put that in the middle. And that's the final answer. So this is the value of cosine times 2, whatever this angle was. And all we had to use was the information about cosine of 5 over 13. In this case, we actually didn't end up using this information, and I'm going to show you another example where we do use that information.